Hello and welcome to this episode of Crystal Clear. I have a very special guest today, the one of the masterminds of this amazing podcast studio that I get to film all my podcasts at, Makschu Productions. And I would like for you to introduce yourself, Miss Christina.
Sure. Thanks, Crystal, for having me. I'm Christina Maksoud. I am one of the owners, like you said, of Makshu Productions. And I am primarily the salesperson, the concept development person, and help with editing and all post production afterwards and make sure our clients are happy at the end.
Awesome. Well, I've always been very happy, and I've been
Oh,
here almost
yay.
a year now, which is kind of fun to think
Has it
about.
been almost a year?
Almost. I mean, about a year since I had the idea, but May will be my official 1 year. So, which will
Wow.
be here before you know it. It's like almost March.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
It feels like 2 weeks ago that you started, honestly, so
Same, same. I'm just curious, how did you guys have the idea to do this? And how long has it been about? Like, tell us a little bit about Makshu.
Like, starting from video production or from the podcast
I'm
suite?
all of it.
Okay. So, I actually happen to be very good at creating opportunities for myself when I went to Ringling College,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that being able to create freelance opportunities was a gift.
Right.
Um, and when I was graduating and Kareem had just graduated the year before me and he was working at ABC 7, um, I saw that there was a need in Sarasota for all content marketing. Um, and I don't know if you remember, maybe like 7, 8 years ago, the way that Sarasota looked then is very different than how it
Oh
looks
god, yeah.
now.
It was like 6 months ago, or like very different.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wanted to be able to take all the skills that we had and be able to apply it for our city. And within 3 weeks of me graduating, decided to get married and start this business.
Wow.
And Makshu is a fun name because it comes from our married name, Maksoud, and my maiden name is actually Shucked, but a lot of people couldn't pronounce it when I was at Ringling College.
Mhm.
And there was actually one Israeli teacher that used to call me Shusha, Shusha, and couldn't figure it out, and it turned into Shushu, and I didn't really wanna lose that when I got married, so there we go, Makshu.
I love that. And so, just so for those of you who are curious who don't know, you guys are a husband and wife team.
Yes.
And do you have any other employees or is it just primarily the 2 of you?
It's us full-time, just us 2, but then we do have an editor, and he might as well be full-time. He's, like, here 35 hours a week. We
That's
just
pretty much full
yeah,
time these
yeah.
days.
And then we have a couple of camera people that we hire on as necessary, but it's really Kareem and I, and we're pretty much the client-facing individuals.
That's awesome. So what services do you guys offer?
So, we actually were starting out in animation when we
Okay.
first started our business, but then we saw that Sarasota really wanted video production and videography, cinematography. So, luckily with Kareem's background from ABC 7, and then when he actually went to Ringling as well, he was on the broadcast club on campus, learned a lot of camera techniques from there. So, we jumped into that. And then January of 2020, we started to go into live streaming, and we didn't know that was gonna end up being a necessity 2 months later.
Right.
And actually that same month, March 1st of 2020, we signed on this studio location.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's divine timing.
Yes, it was crazy. And then eventually the live streaming became, like I said, a necessity, especially in 2021 with all the nonprofits not being able to do their galas.
Right.
We actually hosted a lot of live stream galas in
Yeah.
here
Yeah, I was on
instead.
the committee of a lot of those
Yeah,
galas.
yeah, I know.
We got our little goodie box, and we
Yeah.
had our watch party, and
Yep.
that I mean, that literally is divine timing. And
I
so
know.
that really probably jump-started the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I will admit 2020 was a rough year for us because
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people had pulled back on their marketing,
Right.
and we know, we understand,
Yeah.
but it was almost like a light switch when 2021 hit, and everybody knew that we could do live streaming for them, and it was just we took off
Right.
because they wanted to be able to work on still being able to fundraise.
Right.
Like, Animal Rescue Coalition, they were here for only an hour, we raised $80,000 from them in that live stream.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and because I think people were such craving that connection and that
Mhm.
community during that time, and you guys were a pivotal role in that.
Yes.
So that's really awesome.
Yeah, we enjoyed
And
it.
I mean, what part of it, just to be candid, like what do you enjoy the most about it?
About live streaming or, like
About just the whole business and what you do and being
well,
able to use your creative nature
I see that everybody has their own interesting story, and
right.
that maybe they don't necessarily know how to visualize it, and
Mhm.
we can visualize it for them, and we
Right.
wanna be able to create that narrative, in whatever aspect it is, whether it's video production, whether it's a live event, whether it is in a podcast suite like this.
Right.
We I really like to be able to help conceptualize those ideas for them.
Right. I mean, because I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, the way I found out about you guys, I was talking to a girlfriend who's a mutual friend of ours,
Mhm.
and,
Hey, Hallie, we
hi,
love you.
Hallie, we love you,
Yeah.
who's in your business network,
Yeah.
group. So, I called her one day. I'm like, "I just had the idea. I'm gonna do a podcast." She was like, "Holy shit." She's like, "My girlfriend from my BNI group just stood up today and say, 'Hey, we have a podcast suite if anyone knows anyone that wants to podcast.'" I'm like, "Well, divine timing."
Yeah.
So it's crazy just how that works out. And it's like, it's been amazing. And it's
I
been
know.
because I've allowed my dream and part of my like sole purpose, what I feel like, be able to come true. I can come, I can park it, I can book online, I come
Right.
for an hour or more or what or less, whatever. And you guys do all this stuff for me. It's
And I
fantastic.
remember when Hallie first gave me the introduction to you and I saw the name Belle on there, I'm like, "No, there's no way. There's no way that it's Belle's Florida
Yeah.
Crystal." And I'm like, "No." And when you came in and I showed you our website, you were like, "Oh, yeah, you did stuff for us before." And I'm like, "What?"
It's like, "Oh, that looks like a Bell's
Yeah.
commercial." And that's just it, and I think that, Matt actually shot his podcast here,
Mhm.
which is a little later than mine, but I feel like it's such a gift because it's like it's been a really great outlet for both of us to individuate
Mhm.
in different ways. Like,
Yes.
yes, I have my community outreach and I do philanthropy and stuff for Bells. Yes, Matt's fourth generation CEO, it's his family business, but it's also great to have that outlet and
Mhm.
have these entities. And now he has a whole studio and his whole shebang going on
Right.
for himself that he's created, which Kareem, you have to stop by and see it again. Um, but it's been amazing in my personal journey and so much growth being able to
Right.
come to this space. It's just a safe place. I love that you can, revamp it, you can personalize it, you can do whatever
Mhm.
and have different people on, come in by myself. I remember one day Kareem was like, I think you like doing this by yourself more than having a guest. I'm like, really?
Well, I actually agree. I think it's kinda therapeutic for you to a
It
certain
oh,
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
I mean, it really is, like, I've understood the brain chemistry behind it now, and it
Yeah.
really is. It's almost like being able to process a bunch of stuff out loud, which, yeah, you can journal all day long, but it really does process it through different parts of the brain by talking. Yes, I love to, collaborate with other people and have
Mhm.
connections and conversations and talk about businesses and uplifting others in their ventures, but
Mhm.
it's been so therapeutic in my own journey just to be able to come in and
Right.
talk, and sometimes I do, like, 3 in a row and make, like, little 20-minute sessions, and it's perfect.
I agree. I mean, I think everybody wants to just be heard, and I mean,
Right.
that's part of our business as well, but I can even sympathize in the way of saying I went through that even just last night. I called my mom, I was frantic about one thing, I'm like, "I just need you to hear me. Please
Right.
listen," and this gives you that outlet to be able to do that as well, right? So
Exactly, and I have people and I talked about this before, like, I've had people ask, like, "Why don't you do YouTube?" I'm like, "I'm just not there yet." Like, I could put it out there, but
Right.
I just wanna be heard right now. Like, I feel like I'm seen on all different types of platforms, like being out in the community and doing
Mhm.
events, and, like, I'm seen enough. Like, I want people to really hear what you're saying because I think that it gets skewed sometimes.
Right.
Like, when we have too much going on, I feel like our society is very overstimulated in general.
Right. It's
But,
true.
like and I personally am a listener more than I am a watcher, so I think it is
Mhm.
also personal preference too, but who knows? I'm not gonna say never, never say never,
Mhm.
but maybe one day I'll put the videos out there. Maybe I won't.
I think a lot of people are waiting for sure.
I think they are too. But that's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you think? I mean, so you guys have the podcast suite. So
Mhm.
what all do you do here at the suite?
So it's actually a variety of things, obviously, for people to be able to podcast. But the reason that we came up with it was actually at the start of 2023. A lot of people kept coming up to us and saying, "Hey, we love what you do, but we only want to come in for an hour." And part of our packaging for the other side of the studio, I know a lot of people can't actually see it. Um, it's a customizable set over there. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, yeah, we want you to build this whole thing, but we only want to record for an hour." And we don't usually charge for the manual labor of setting up a set. We'll
Right.
charge for like the materials and such,
Right.
but we usually charge for the recording time to make
Right.
it worth people's while.
Right.
doing 1 hour of recording time for all that work is not really
Right.
worth it. So I said, why don't we make a permanent setup for people that do want to just come in for the 1 hour? And not only could it be for a podcasting, it could be someone who is coming in doing like a CEO announcement
Mhm.
or some sort of business announcement. So
Mhm.
we have so many different people who maybe they want the TV out and they just want to uh, do quick little updates of what their business is doing or giving quick tips about
Mhm.
what like a networking tip is
Mhm.
basically. But so there's a lot that we have been able to transform this room
Mhm.
into, and we can change all the decorations, we can change all the lighting. As the people who can eventually see the YouTube and the clips,
They
we can
see the reels.
Yes. We can change all the purple lighting, we can change the TV screen,
Yeah.
we can change the artwork just however they want it to
Yeah.
be as long as the walls stay up, so
Right. I love that. I mean, you guys have, like, fitness instructors that come into
Mhm,
film, you have people that do photo shoots, you have podcasters, you
mhm.
have like you said, groups are one of the things before I started, you had a group just sitting around drinking wine, talking, like
Oh, yeah, and talking about golf.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, "What are they doing? That's
Yes.
looks like fun."
Yes.
Like, you wanna record a night out? Go
Yes.
for it. But I love that, and the convenience factor is easy. I feel like there's very rarely I've wanted to come on and book something that it's been totally full, and
Right.
you guys are really great about working with me when I have to switch my times like 50,000 times.
We know life happens, so we're pretty
Right, and
understandable
it's
about that.
affordable, and it's I mean, it's totally been worth it for me, and now that I've seen kind of Matt's behind the studio stuff of all that goes into actually doing the whole shebang. I mean, he's hired a podcast producer and all this stuff. I'm like, "I don't have time for that."
Right.
So, it's been really great. It's really, like I said,
Well,
been
thank
something
you.
that's allowed me to have my outlet and all the things. So, where do you feel like this is heading for you guys? Like, do you have a what's next? Or are you just cruising and trying to just, write out what's manifested for you? That's my personal goal for this year is like I manifested a lot last year. Now I'm just writing it out and see where it
Right.
goes. Um,
I think first step is we wanna make sure we can actually block out all the time slots on this side,
right.
and then for those that can't see, we have a green screen set on the other side that is not usually utilized, and we think will make another podcast suite for people to choose from
Oh, that's
if they
fun.
want to. And we were looking at one point last year at actually at a bigger studio to be able
Mhm.
to make multiple rooms in, and I think that's our goal down the line, and then to have a bigger team so that we would be working on the business instead of in the business ourselves.
Right. I mean, and that's, I work with my husband too. He's technically my boss's boss, but but this is different. So, if you don't mind sharing, like, what have those dynamics been like? You got married, what, a week before you started this business?
Yes.
So, that's a lot.
Yes.
So, what are some of the benefits, challenges? Again, if you don't wanna go there, you don't have to go there, but
Um, well, I mean, it's great because 'cause we're together all the time, but I mean, there's definitely it's and Kareem's listening, of course, guys, so he's gonna be judging me
right.
later on, but we're together a lot of the time too, but there are some down moments. I would say what is probably the negative is that we're always working.
Right.
And I know that's partly because 'cause we're both workaholics. Um, we try to carve out as much me time and personal time as we can, but we're always ready to do the next thing
Right.
and get growing and trying to be ready for that next podcast suite that we can open up or the
Right.
next item. I know Kareem really wants to buy a lot more equipment so we could do all the AV work at
Mhm.
galas. And yeah, so it's just getting ready to do the next thing instead of just stopping and slowing down.
Right. Well, I think we all struggle with that. I mean,
Mhm.
I know I struggle with that. Like,
You're
it's
better at it than me, though. You every time
well, I have 4 kids I have
yes,
to manage in the meantime. If I
yes.
didn't, it might be way worse. The beginning of the year, it was like I was telling my life coach, I think I'm just gonna ride it out. I manifested a lot. I created a business. I podcast. This year, I'm just gonna be coasting.
Mhm.
And 2 weeks ago, I see that this Heartwood yoga place came up for sale. And I'm like, oh, there's 7 acres and 3 entities. Well, she's like, do you remember in the couple weeks ago when you said you were just gonna ride this? I'm like, this could be part of the ride out. Like,
Right.
So
Yep.
I always have to and Matt's the same way, and I think that when you have that just, like, go-getter I don't really like to call it workaholic, I like to think of it ambitious. You have
Yes.
that ambition, you have been successful with what you're doing,
Right.
and it's you wanna see what's next, you know there's a need for it, you see the
Right.
potential in it, and you wanna make it happen for people, whether that's, like, me and self-care and helping people with that or, moving on to the next philanthropy thing. I think that that's it's good, but finding healthy boundaries around it too.
Yes.
And you know who you can always lean on if you
I
need to work
know.
on healthy boundaries.
Crystal does text me often, say like,
Yes.
"Hey, have you taken a break this week?"
Yeah, that was, like, 3 days ago before I asked you to do the podcast.
Yes.
You need to take a break. However, do you wanna be on the podcast
Yes.
this week too? So what do you do for yourself with your mindfulness time, your downtime? What are the things that you like to do for yourself?
Um, when I do have the time, I definitely like to read. I like to read a lot of fiction novels and everything. I like to Oh, my guilty pleasure right now is 90 Day Fiancé. I am just, like, letting my mind melt to that show.
What is it?
90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah, tell me
Oh
about it.
my
I'm not a
god,
TV person. Tell me about this.
So it's a show on TLC, so you know it's just terrible drama,
Yeah.
but it's couples who meet that are from different countries, and they apply for the K-1 visa, so they
Uh-huh.
let's say there's a person from the United States and the other person's from the Philippines. The person from the Philippines comes and lands, and within 90 days, they have to get married. And it could be, like, their
Is
second
that
meeting.
legal?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know it's legal, but, like but then are they a resident? Like, how does that work?
Well, that's how they get their
Oh,
residency.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
what if they change their mind?
Well, that's the whole point of the show.
Oh god. Oh god. This show gives me anxiety. I'm
Yes.
trying to work on this.
Like, I just watched they have because and it's a big thing, Crystal, I'm surprised you haven't seen because it's a big universe. There's before the 90 days,
Yeah.
there's 90 days the other way, so the Americans go to another country, and, I just watched the episode before the 90 days, there's one guy went to Haiti, and the girl has another boyfriend, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm choosing the other boyfriend," while this guy the whole crew was there filming it.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel terrible for that guy.
It was, but yes, it is,
But
but
it's
it's
intriguing.
yeah.
I feel like Tatum, my daughter, would love this
Yeah.
show.
It's terrible trash, but, like,
Yeah, it
you
reels you
can't
in.
stop.
It
Yeah.
reels you in. What was the TLC show I used to love? What Not to Wear. Where
I
they went
used to
through
love that growing
Yes, where
up.
they went through and
Yes.
they, like, revamped their whole
Mhm.
wardrobe, like, I love that.
Yeah, and the girl with this gray streak of hair, I
Yes,
forgot her
always yes,
Stacy.
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 Stacy and Clint? Clint and
Clay?
Stacy? Clint?
I don't
Clint and
know.
Sta I don't know, I don't remember. That was a good show.
Yeah, that was
I
a
I
good
I always I always, again, like to
yeah.
help people, like to fix people, like their
Yes.
wardrobes. That's so much fun.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
No
No, I'll have to
problem.
check out the show. Even though I'm not a TV person, I feel like I'm gonna be
Well,
dragged
if you have
in.
HBO Max, all of it is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Damn you.
Yes.
Damn you and your 90 days.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you guys meet?
So Kareem and I met at Ringling College,
Okay.
and the short of it is he had a puppy he brought on campus, and
Lured you with the puppy.
I wanted the puppy. I didn't know it was a package deal.
Do you still have the puppy?
Yes, we do. He's 10 years old now, and so for 30 days straight when I saw this puppy, I messaged him on Facebook. I didn't even say hi, how are you, what's up, anything like I just said the word puppy. And at the end of 30 days, he said he was gonna block me or take me out on a date, and here we are 10 years later.
Aw. What was your first date?
We went to Lido Beach, and I mean,
Oh.
I tried to consider it not a date, but I was trying to be cordial about it. I would say that was our first hanging out date, and then we went to 2 señoritas, like, a week
They
later.
had great sangria. I
Yeah,
remember that place.
I
That was
loved
great.
I loved 2 señoritas.
Yeah. What is it now?
El
El
Melvin.
Melvin.
Mhm.
Yeah. That place is pretty good too,
Yeah.
though.
It turns into a club on
Yeah.
Saturday nights,
Yeah, it
so
gets funky at night
yeah.
and like holidays.
Yes.
That's awesome. So did you take the puppy on the first date?
No, because we weren't sure if he was allowed on the beach.
So how'd you take that? I mean, we're still here.
Yes, we're here. He let me go play with the puppy at his house before and after, and then he's like, "Well, why don't we just go to the beach?" And we're like, "Okay." And it was like a whole thing. I remember my car battery died, so the alarm system was going off for 30 minutes, and we didn't know what to do, and was an
Sounds like a
adventure.
really romantic
Yeah, totally.
day, and hopefully
Totally.
didn't set the precedent for the rest of your life too.
No, no. Well, I mean, if it's roller coaster, for sure, roller
Yeah,
coaster of the next
yeah,
item to do, but yeah.
absolutely. Oh my god, I love that. Thank you for sharing. So you're originally from Sarasota?
I'm originally from East End, Long Island.
Oh, awesome. How'd you end up here? College?
Um, part yeah, my
Okay.
art, high art excuse me. My high school art teacher had suggested this because, she was telling me to go to New York City for School of Visual Arts. I
Mhm.
had no desire to go into the city. I am not a city person
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's a lot. I mean, I love to visit, but I couldn't live there. It's too
I
much
know.
concrete and people-y for me.
And you can't see the sky. That's really
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you could go sit in the middle of the park, but how often would you really get to do
Yeah,
that
and
if
it
you're
still
in school?
smells.
Yeah. All the smells. I
Yes.
hear the smells are a lot different than they
Yeah.
used to be now.
Yes.
All of our buyers go to New York on a regular basis. I haven't been since 20 I actually took Tatum, January of 2020, and that's the last time I've gone.
Oh,
And so
yeah?
I'm, like, kinda scared to go back because I love it, but it's like I'm a whole different Crystal than I was then. So I'm like, I don't know how mindfulness Crystal would do well in the city now, so we'll go for a couple days.
Well, do it as, like, you go for plays
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
exciting
she wants to
things.
go school clothes shopping before she goes to high school, so I think we'll do a little girls trip
Oh,
and do it that way.
nice.
But my life in New York City prior to, PB, which is post Brody Crystal, uh, was sipping and shopping around New York. So it's like grab a cocktail, go shopping,
That's
and
fun.
yeah, I mean we'd wake up and kick her ass and go to Cycle Bar and all that stuff. But I just wandered around while Matt worked, and it was fun.
Mhm.
But again, that was before I had a little one to take care of and all the things. But, so I'm excited for you guys. So tell me, you had a recent event that you just hosted?
Oh, the Addies Gala,
Yes.
yes. The American Advertising Federation of the Suncoast, AAF Suncoast.
Okay. And
Yep.
what is that?
So it's a three-tier club, and it is a club for advertising professionals, and it can be in any sort of bit of advertising. So marketing, video production, radio commercials, copywriting, graphic design, which actually Bells Florida had participated in the past before.
Oh,
And I
awesome.
remember we helped with a video that won one point many years ago. Um, and yeah, basically it's a once a year competition where all the creatives can be able to submit, and it's judged by three unbiased judges. We find people that are from out of the state of Florida. It's completely virtual
Mhm.
judging. It used to be in-person judging, which was much more expensive. We have
Right.
changed that. um and then they get raked between silver Addy, gold Addy, and if they do well, then they could get special awards as well and go on to districts, which is districts is state of Florida and the Caribbean, and if they do well there, then they can go on to nationals.
Okay. Awesome. That's
Mhm.
really fun. How'd the event turn out? How do you feel? Like, I've done the committees and
Yes.
the hosting and all the
Oh.
things. How do you feel now? Like your 8th wedding
It's
day is over?
starting to feel like now I'm starting to separate myself from it, so
Yeah.
thank God for that.
Yes.
It's a lot of stress for sure, especially in the month of February between work and creating the gala. I will say that, and I whenever this is posted, that's actually my last gala that I am a part of after 4 years of
Yeah.
running it, so
And good for you.
yeah.
Honestly, even with my job in community outreach and philanthropy, I've scaled back. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy to sponsor and create a table or donate to the cause, but
Right.
I don't have to be there in person doing all the things and being so hands-on. I
Right.
feel like I'm dabbling in so many buckets right now, like that doesn't fill me up anymore.
Right.
And I love them, but I think it's like it opens time and space for other people to have those opportunities that
Mhm.
I've been able to do forever. Like we were supposed to do this Habitat for Humanity. They're like, "Oh, we have a table for you." And I'm like, "That's amazing. I'm evented out right now. We love
Uh-huh.
you guys. Donate it to the families." And they were like, "Oh, wow." And I'm
Oh.
like, I rather have people that don't have those experiences to be able to participate
Yeah,
and
that's great.
have those experiences because it's exhausting. And that's
Yeah.
one thing, as it's hard to navigate your own energy and refuel yourself in
Right.
between. So I'm glad that you're taking a couple days before you have another thing going on, but just good for you for
Yeah.
listening to yourself, listening to your body,
Mhm.
just going with the flow. And it's
Yes.
okay to move forward in a different direction, even, and I think that we all kind of get stuck in that this is something we've always done, so we always have to do it.
Right.
No, we don't have to do that at all. You can
Right.
totally like every day you wake up is an opportunity to do something differently. So good for
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to make a whole movement where, because I'm involved in too many different things and notice that my buckets are definitely full of
Preach to the
those
choir,
things. Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yes. And, May, June are, like, my last months of, like, super busyness between all these different things. I'm a part of Leadership Sarasota. I graduate in May in that. I'm a part of, um, the Addies group that will end in, June, and I'm also a part of oh my god, what's the other thing? Oh, Junior League.
Mhm,
I'm switching committees and because 'cause I'm doing way too many different things in the diversity group right
mhm.
now. So, once July hits and that's my birthday month, I'm gonna enjoy my birthday. I'm gonna start really focusing on myself and getting myself kinda
Good
back.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited about that. We'll
Yeah.
have to go I'll take you to all my woo-woo stuff.
Okay.
We'll do the sound baths, we'll do all the things.
The woo-woo.
The woo-woo stuff, all the self-care. We'll have self-care spa days.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, it's so funny because Kareem, he films all of these, so he learns all about this fun
I
stuff.
know.
So I learn something every time you come
I
in. I
know,
didn't
and
know.
I remember the culture shock from episode 1 or 2 where, you're talking about
Yeah.
menstruation cycles,
Yeah,
and he was
hormones, how
like,
to
"Well,
balance
yeah,
the
but yeah,
women's
yeah."
hormones and
And he did not know he was like, "What?"
well, it's really good if you guys ever do family planning.
I
Now he's
know.
knowledgeable.
Yes.
He knows when to come on in and stay away.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Well, good for you. I'm glad that you're able to have that awareness because I
Mhm.
think we all reach that point where it's like, wow, what is success really? Like, if I'm doing all these different things, do I feel, yes, I'm excited I'm doing them, but like, that doesn't always mean it's success, you know? It's like
Right.
taking that time for yourself, knowing, "Hey, I did that, that's awesome. I have a great resume, I have
Mhm.
great experience with that, and now it's time to move on
Right.
and open a new chapter." So, I'm
Yes.
excited, and I'll have to have you back on next time you're in your new
Oh,
chapter and see
yeah.
what that's like,
That'd be
and
cool to do one a year from now, basically from
yeah,
this recording and see how
absolutely, to see, like, how things have transpired
Uh-huh.
and, what things look like for you guys then, and, yeah. So, that's really
And I'm
exciting.
sure I'll be really calm by then because my best friend's wedding is in February of 2025, and I'm maid of honor for that, and then I'm gonna be like,
They're
"Whew."
planners. They've
Yes.
already have it planned out. Is it,
Yeah.
like, in a different country?
No, it's
No?
Selby Gardens here in
Oh,
town.
wow.
Yes.
She's a planner.
Yes. Hey, I mean, she's my best friend and I'm a planner. I'm sure that it just, like, we
Yeah.
rub off each other that way,
Have you
so
tried their new restaurant? I'm excited to try that. Matt and I are trying it on
there's a
Sunday.
new restaurant at the Selby Gardens?
Yeah, the Orchid Cafe or something
Oh,
like that.
no,
It's
I
supposed to be
haven't.
really great for Michael's and niece, so I'm excited for
Nice,
that.
okay.
But thank you guys for all you do in the
Thanks.
community and, having this awesome safe space for everyone to come and kind of follow their dreams. And
Yeah.
it's gotta feel really good inside, even though it's exhausting sometimes to be part of that. So I just wanna share my personal gratitude and appreciation for you
Thank
guys
you.
and let you guys know that, and you've become a great friend, obviously, in the
Yeah.
process. And it's been great to get to know you more and network more with you. And yeah, I'm very grateful for you both. So
Thank you,
thank you for all
Crystal.
you do.
We're grateful for you too,
Oh,
especially me, so thank you.
oh, and thanks for coming on today.
Thanks.